I grew up in a faith-based Christian home, and I was blessed to have a mother and father that they both served the Lord, loved the Lord with all their heart, and they instilled Christian values. And I spent a lot of my childhood actually in the church, not just the Sunday morning Christian, but actually Wednesday night worship, youth activities, whatnot. And I lived my faith through him pretty much, you know. And I went to church because my dad went to church. I went to church because I knew after church we were going to go eat dinner somewhere. You know, it was just, that was what our family did, you know. That's how I grew up. And everybody in the church, they kind of looked at our family like the Kodak family. They kind of felt like we had our stuff together. And so when Dad got arrested, it really threw me for a loop. All that, I still did fine. I stayed involved and interactive in the youth group and all that throughout his struggles. But a lot of that played into my life later on. It wasn't until I was 21 to 22 years old that I actually started using my pain medication more than what was prescribed. I had gotten a legitimate car wreck. I started taking exactly what I was prescribed. Everything was on point there. But eventually the doctors would quit writing what you needed to help with pain. So needless to say, those years of opiate addiction, you know, they keep you longer than you want to stay, and they take you lower than you want to go. And it ended up that what I found to be my belief in Christ was religion. It wasn't interpersonal. It was nothing. There was no intimacy. There was. It was all surface level. It was what a lot of people do when they go to church on Sunday mornings. That was the life that I knew that I lived. And so I found out the morning I found out that I was addicted, I was sitting in church. I was sitting in the center aisle on the left-hand side, and it was 72 degrees in the church, and I was sitting there in cold sweats. I didn't know that I was addicted. I was taking what I was prescribed. Long story short, you started outsourcing. Doctor stops writing you what you need. I was addicted. He was writing too much. Pretty soon, I was just addicted. On May 3rd of 2009, my dad graduated from Florida State with honors, and left really he was a good role model for me. But at 47 years old, my dad graduated from Florida State with honors, and the next morning I went to work. I was still a functioning addict at the time. And the next morning I went to work. It was on Monday, May 4th, 2009. I'll never forget. At 7:30, I got to work at 7, but at 7:30 I got the phone call to go to the hospital that my father was sick. So I went from a very high place of him graduating from college to the next morning that my dad had turned 48. He actually turned 48 on the 1st. So on the 1st he turned 48, on 3rd he graduated, and on the 4th he was dead at 7:30 in the morning. My dad's death, man, it didn't cause my addiction. I was to blame. I'm the one that went into that, but it sure didn't help anything. So I actually went to my mom to get help, and I actually was the one. It's not like I got caught. It wasn't like a family intervention. I actually stepped to my mom and I said, "Mom, I was addicted." She didn't believe me, she knew something was going on. My finances were out of whack. My relationships were out of whack, and I just wasn't myself anymore. She never believed that my addiction had grown in the excess of 500 milligrams of Oxycontin a day. From 2009 until 2016, I was entered into 17 different programs, and from AA, NA, whatnot, and actually went through a faith-based program. Started getting my life on track. Things started getting up, man. I was working, I was doing good. After spending a year in this program, and I relapsed. I was hiding it very well for a long time. In the midst of this, I was in and out of jail, in and out of those 17 institutions, and ended up taking some charges for some friends of mine. When I stood in front of the judge told me, he said, "Wesley Martin, you realize that I could sentence you to 20 years. I knew then that it was just me and God. And I cried out to God and I said, "God, this addiction's taken me to places I've never been and never dreamed I wanted to go. God, I grew up in church. Why is this happening to me? You've taken my dad. You've stripped everything from me, everything. I've lost my job. I've totaled vehicles. My family doesn't trust me. My brother can't stand me. My sister don't want to answer my calls." And I felt like Job. I felt like Satan had just got everything but my soul, and that's the only thing that he couldn't take. Ended up getting rearrested, violating a few more times. But it was when I said, "Though you slay me, yet I will trust you." And I surrendered my life, rededicated my life to Jesus Christ. What 17 programs couldn't do, counselors, everybody's opinion of telling me what that they thought that I needed to do, that I need to go to this program, that I need to go to that program, none of it helped. I had to go back and serve 6 months in the county jail in Panama City. And in that time, those 6 months, I spent every day in 66 books of the Holy Bible and found deliverance through Jesus Christ. So, in Romans, the Bible talks about all things work together for your good. So, through this 10, 11 years of addiction, I met my wife. And she stood by my side through all of this. The one thing I told the guys in the program when I was back in Florida before I was about to get released, I said, "Guys, I've got a wife at home that loves me. She loves the Lord more than she does me. There's nothing more attractive than that." But I said, "Guys, one thing, there's going to be a few things that take place. Is one, I'm not coming back to visit you guys. I'm not coming to the jail. I'm sorry. I'm burnt out." But I said, "I'm going to go home and we're going to rebuild our lives from here on out, and I'll be in church, serving somewhere in church, not just going. It doesn't work out too well for me. But I said, I'll be serving somewhere in a church. I plan on having a baby, getting a job and taking back what the enemy's restored from me. God's, he's definitely in the restoration business." So, where am I at today? I got a full-time job with benefits, providing for my family week in and week out. I'll be starting school to be an electrician in less than a year. My teeth are getting fixed. I've got a baby that's almost 4 months old now. She's healthy. After everything I've been through, the Lord, she's perfect. Her heartbeat's fine. Me, Priscilla, the baby, we're all hepatitis free. By the grace of God, it makes no sense because faith doesn't. Neither does grace. In the midst of all of this, I went and I actually got a tattoo in craziest little place in Allgood, Tennessee, and I met Keith Patchmeyer, and God just orchestrated it. So that's how I landed here at I Am Worship. From grief to AA, NA, whatever A you want to put behind it, from all that counseling, God has made me land right here in I Am Worship. And He's provided me a place to serve Him by helping with the sound system here at a church that I believe wholeheartedly is going to be able to reach out and touch the lives and minister to the people in this community.